Saving money is not a financial plan. It's step one of a financial plan, and if it's the only step you ever take, it can quietly make you poorer, not richer. Here's the exact path. The moment savings stops being enough, what to keep in cash no matter what, the system that separates safe money from growing money, where beginners should actually put that growing money, and the one mechanic that can work against you instead of for you if you ignore it. Every financial advice video starts the same way. Save your money. And that's fine advice for the first chapter. The problem is almost nobody tells you what chapter 2 looks like. So people keep doing chapter 1 forever, year after year, assuming more saved automatically means more secure. It doesn't. Not once you understand what's actually happening to that money while it sits there. So here's the first thing you need to know. The exact moment saving stops helping you. The average U.S. savings account pays about 0.39% a year right now. Inflation over the past year has run somewhere between roughly 2.7% and 4.2%, depending on the month you check. Subtract one from the other, and most saved money is losing real value every year it just sits there. Concrete example, $20 set aside in 2019 needed to grow to about $25.18 by 2025 just to buy what it could buy before. If that $20 sat in an average savings account the whole time, it didn't get there. That's the moment. Once your account stops growing faster than prices are rising, saving more in that account isn't building wealth. It's just losing more slowly than spending it would. Now, before you go pull every dollar out of your bank, here's the part that keeps this from being reckless advice. There's a specific amount that should never leave a savings account, no matter what the math above says. The CFPB, Fidelity, Vanguard, and T. Rowe Price all land on the same number independently, 3 to 6 months of essential expenses. Vanguard tracked over 12,000 investors and found that even just $2,000 in savings was linked to a real, measurable increase in financial well-being. On the other end, Federal Reserve survey data shows that roughly a third of Americans couldn't cover a sudden $400 expense at all. So, step 2 isn't stop saving, it's finish saving. Hit that buffer in a real high-yield account, not the 0.39% kind, and then stop adding to it. Here's where almost everyone gets stuck, and it has a name, the two-bucket problem. You actually have two pools of money that need completely different homes, and most people keep both of them in the exact same place. Bucket 1 is your safety money, the 3 to 6 month buffer we just covered. It exists to never lose value when you need it, even if that means it grows slowly. Bucket 2 is your growth money, anything beyond that buffer. And this is the bucket most people accidentally leave sitting in the same 0.39% account as Bucket 1, which means it's earning safety returns while doing a growth job. That mismatch, growth money parked in a safety account, is the actual mechanism behind saving is keeping you poor. It's not saving itself, it's the wrong bucket holding the wrong kind of money. So what actually goes in the growth bucket? Historically, broad stock market index investing. The S&P 500 has averaged close to 10% a year since 1957, about 6.5% a year after inflation. That's not a guess, it's nearly 70 years of data. And that 6.5% real return is the gap between a savings account that's often losing to inflation and an investment that's historically outpacing it by a wide margin. One important exception, if you're carrying credit card debt, this step changes order. The average credit card charges around 21 to 22% interest right now. No realistic investment beats a guaranteed 21% cost. So for anyone in that position, paying down that debt is the growth bucket move before the stock market even enters the picture. Last step, and it's the one that ties everything together: compound interest. Everyone's heard it described as the most powerful force in building wealth, money making money, accelerating over time. That's true in the growth bucket. But the same multiplier runs in reverse inside a near-zero savings account. That tiny annual gap between 0.39% and 3 to 4% inflation doesn't just repeat every year, it compounds every year, the exact same mechanism just running against you instead of for you. There's even a documented reason this feels invisible. Economists call it money illusion, a peer-reviewed finding from 1997 showing people instinctively judge money by the number on the screen, not what that number can actually buy. Your brain sees the balance go up and reads that as winning, even while the growth bucket sitting in the wrong account is quietly losing. So here's the path, start to finish. Build your buffer 3 to 6 months in a real high-yield account, not the 0.39% kind, and then stop adding to it. Then send everything beyond it to the growth bucket, starting with high-interest debt if you have any, then long-term investing if you don't. Saving protects what you already have. Investing grows what you don't have yet. You need both, you were just never told where the line actually sits. If this finally showed you where that line is, the next video walks through exactly how to split your first paycheck between both buckets, dollar by dollar. Subscribe so you don't miss it. See you in the next one.